Hey, I wanted to show you guys exactly what I got you for the residential door unlocking kit. I've put this together with hopefully giving you everything that you need in order to do this. So I have two different sections. This case has some smaller pieces that I had to put in here in order to keep it non-sloppy. So basically what I've got for you is, first off, you need to lubricate your lock first before you work with it, because some of these locks are going to be gooey and jammed up. So you spray it with this first, and then we have this. Sorry, seen something like this, a plastic shim that you can put between the door jamb and the door in order to shim the door lock, and I'm going to demonstrate that in a moment if I can. Let's see here. Also, this tool right here is for a smart lock, because smart locks can't be picked, and this bypasses the smart lock by going behind the handle and pulling down a cam in order to unlock the lock from the inside, and I'll show you a demonstration video. Also, I have for you a bump hammer for bumping a lock with a bump key, and I also have two bump keys here. I'm going to demonstrate that. This one is your schlag, and this is your Kwikset, and you need to use both of these little bumpers on the key, and I'll show you how to do that. Let's see what else. Oh, this is what I got for the actual kit. If you can put it inside of this case right here, there's pockets, and you have to set this up with your phone, and it'll let you know when you've moved out of the area where your door unlocking kit is, in case you forget it at a location. This is going to be really helpful because all this stuff putting together is probably kind of expensive. All right, so let's see. I'm going to open up this one and show you what I've got in here. All right, and I've connected these two together, so that might be an inconvenience, but keeping up with both of these instead of losing one is probably better. But if you have a better system, you can do it any way you want to. So what I've got for you here is I've ordered some picks for raking door locks. This is generally what is done with a rake pick, is raking the locks, and a lot of locksmiths go about raking locks. I'm not very good at this. I haven't given it a lot of practice either. I've practiced over the years. It's just not been my forte. Also, I have these single pin picking locks where you pick single pins at the same time. This is a tension wrench. I'll show you how this particular kind of tension wrench works. You can probably guess it. Here's some more tension wrenches, different sizes that I got for you guys. And let me put this back in here. Whoops. Whoops, 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 whoops. All right, I'll just put these over here for the time being. And also, I've got this. These are for wafer locks, like on file cabinets and toolboxes on the back of trucks. Those usually have wafer locks, and I'm going to show you how to use this in a moment. And in here is where your Lishi residential unlocking lock picks are at. And what I have here is both of these are the cover all the pins in, you know, your 5 and 6 pin locks for the Schlagen Kwikset, and it also is for this is the right hand and left hand door on each of these as left on these. So for example, if you find yourself in a door where it's the opposite direction and you put the lockpick in there, you're not going to be able to see the other side because you're going to be blocked because of the orientation of the door. So I'm going to show you that, how that works in a minute. But I almost forgot that, and I'll be back and show you how these tools work. I just wanted to show you some methods that I have used in the past for shimming doors. This door is not exactly the best example because this thing is not, I haven't really shimmed this door, and I've tried countless times. I don't know what the hell is up with it, but that's kind of like goes with the territory. That's why you need so many tools, because sometimes where one tool fails, the other tool can get into the door. But for example, say I want to shim this door and the door is too tight. Well, not in this case, but if the door is too tight for you to place your shim in there, you can also use your airbags and put those in there. Sometimes the airbag is strong enough to actually just pop the door open if it's just a door lock. It doesn't happen that often, but sometimes it does. Alright, there's a bigger hole in here. It should be easier to get into. But the flip side of this is you're putting a lot of pressure on the door, and it could prevent you conceivably from shimming the door because it's putting too much pressure on the door lock. Let me just see. What I usually do is pull and push in concert or simultaneously while pulling and pushing on this. For example, let's see here. So I'm pulling, and pushing, and pulling, and pushing, and trying to get at that lock at an angle, coming in at this angle. Whoops, sorry, coming in at that angle, sort of like that angle into the door lock, like this. But this damn door. Take these off. Tight door. The other thing you got to be concerned about is sometimes you can get too aggressive with these shims, and I've done this myself, and it peels paint off the door if you just go crazy with it. So I mean, if it's a really loose door, that's when you want to use one of these. If it's not, if it's really tight, sometimes it can work, but it can also have, if you have a painted door, it could be a problem because you open up the door and all the paint's scraped off the inside. Let's see, so. So, anywho, I just wanted to show you also what I was saying before. So, for example, if this was, if this was an apartment and it was the end of the row, and say there was a wall right here, you wouldn't be able to use this Lishi tool right here because it would be facing the wall, and you wouldn't see what's going on because this part right here is blocked by a wall, and you couldn't be able to squeeze your head in between that. And that's the reason you need this one, which I included for the Schlage and the Kwikset. The left side, see if you can see that left side L right there, it goes in like this, so you can actually see what's going on when you're when you're working on it. Let's see, get closer here. So you can see here that now you can see everything and go about picking that lock because you can see all the numbers on there and everything. Okay, I thought it would be more easier to demonstrate this on this lock stand. I've got a Schlage lock right here. I've got my Schlage bump key. Well, shoot, can you see this thing? Anyway, you'll get a look at it when you get it. And what you have to do in order to bump the lock, because each one of these little bumps here, this has been grinded down, are going to knock into the pins, and sort of using the same kind of raking method, it's going to bump those pins in a way that you're going to turn with the tension wrench at the same time while you're bumping. Now, if you didn't have these little bumpers here that pops back, you'd have to pull it out each individual time that you hit it with this little hammer here. So you're going to have to put the two of these on here, and I'm going to include these with you and some extras. And you just put it in. And I know it looks like a lot of space, but actually with this key, this bump key, it's not. And you take your tension wrench and you place it in the keyhole, and you're giving it light tension, and you just do some light wax on it. And I'll just show, wait a second, I'll just show you here, whoops, that this is unlocked, so I need to lock it. I'm locking it from the other side, now it's locked. All right, and what you do here is, if I can get this situated in here correctly. All right, so I'm just giving it a light bit of tension with my hands here, fingers, and, oh, damn it. And just giving it just enough to give it tension in order to, when I hit it, it's going to hit all the pins at the same time, and hopefully one of these instances it's going to all right, so there it is right there. Let's see if we can do it again. Okay, so you're just giving it some light taps. You're not really whacking on it really hard, and just putting a little amount of tension. If I unlock this thing, oh, dirt. All right, now it's locked. Now I can try to do this. Excuse me. Okay, there we go, we got it. So the thing you have to remember about these bump keys is supposedly they can do damage to the pins on the lock because you're hitting it over and over again, but you know, sometimes this is what you've got to use. Okay, I'm going to show you how to use this tool right here to bypass a Kwikset smart lock. And of course it's not going to go through this section right here. You have to go through this section back over here. So what I'm going to do is turn this sideways and then show you how this works. You pull off the shield right here. And there's gonna usually be a hole right here. If there isn't a hole, you might have to get about like a 1/8 drill and something to protect the door paint and drill where this is right here. There should be a dimple or a hole. And what we're gonna do is use this tool right here to go back inside of the lock in the inner parts. Let's see. Like this, and then I'm going to show you what's going on the inside. All right, I hope you can see pretty decently in there, and I can show you what's going on here. Hopefully there won't be a shadow, but you see my tool right here, and So I've got my tool here, and hopefully you can see on the inside, I'm going to push it forward a little bit. Whoops. And you can see this right here. What it's doing is there's a little cam on the inside on the spindle of the lock, and I'm going to show you that in just 1 second here. So what you're doing is you're worming it on the inside, and you're feeling for this part right here. See this edge right here on the spindle, and what you want to do is pull it all the way back here and then over the top, and then what you do is push this down. See, it's hard to do like that. It's hard to do while you're holding it, and it's hard to do the other way, but that is how that works. And I'm going to send you, or have a link for you in the description about another online tutorial on how to do this. Okay, this is my attempt at showing you how to use the Lishi. First thing is, I didn't want to forget, I've already used this, but you got to do lubrication, because sometimes that can be the difference between getting the lock open and not getting it, if some of those pins are a little bit gunked up. So I've already done this because this tends to be messy, so I didn't record that part. 1 second. And so this is the Schlage lock, and I know this particular lock has 5 pins, so I've got this one, which is SC1, which is the Schlage for 5-pin locks. And let's see here. So when I'm putting it in the lock, usually what I do is try to this little piece right here, push it in, and then I usually hold it with my thumb, so that way, well, let me show you. See how this little piece comes up here? That's using this arm right here, and you want to just tuck it down in there, like pull it back or push it forward like that, and that way it'll stay out of the way. But I tend to want to move it sort of towards the back and then just hold it like that, and because that way it gets out of the way of the lock, because sometimes the pins can get hung up on it. And then when you're putting it in there, you know, just feel around. Sometimes it takes a second, and you want to solidly hit the inside of the lock. You see where this shoulder is right here? You want to make sure that is flush with the keyway. I hope you can see that. All right, and then and then next what you do is you pull out your little arm, and you're going to push towards the where the lock is, or the door direction of the door is that it's locked in. So you're going to push it this way. If it was on the other side of the door, you'd be pulling down, or anyway, you'll figure it out. So what you're doing basically is, when you're using a Lishi, you're not just like pushing pins randomly. The feedback that you get from the lock, it's telling you which of the pins is binded and needs to be picked. So what you're looking for is the difference between pins that feel springy, like this one. That means it doesn't need to be picked. And generally I just use a little bit of the top of the index finger pressure on it. You don't want to use any more than that. And just see if that particular pin is springy or if it is bound up. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. So this one's springy, but I can feel it. It's springy. It's just moving a tiny little bit. I think I'm going to just move on with that. I'm not 100%, so I'm going to number 3 here. Number 3 is springy, so that one's not bound up. All right, number 4 feels like something's weird's going on. Yeah, you see that? I'm putting pressure on it. It's not springy at all. I'm putting a little bit of index finger pressure on it. So what you're doing is now is you're attempting to pick this, and the way that you do that is by pushing down and releasing the pressure on your thumb right here, and sort of a counter rotational back this way, because if you put an extreme amount of pressure on it, it's not going to create that friction between locking and unlocking if you put too much pressure on that pin. So what I'm going to do is release the thumb pressure a tiny bit, and then push this down at the same time and see if I can feel anything, it's going to click. And you just went, ah, there. I don't know if you heard that. It was a tiny little click. And now it's bouncy. It's bouncy, 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 bouncy. But it was just, I just pulled off this just a tiny little bit with my thumb and then pushed down. And then while I was pushing down and releasing the pressure on here, it released from that bound state that it was in a second ago, and now it's bouncy. It means you've picked that pin. So we move on to number 5 here. All right, so this one, I don't know. It feels like it's a little bouncy, but maybe it's just the bounce from just the top of being top of the lock. So I'm going to release the thumb pressure here. Release, release. I'm still releasing, gingerly pushing down, not forcing with this finger, and then gingerly counter rotation. All right, what happened here? Okay, so it dropped a little bit, but it's not bouncy, which makes me believe that I'm going to have to, oh, let me see here. No, I think it's bound. All right, let's see if I can pick this one. I'm going to release on the thumb here, and I'm holding this in place so I don't press too hard with my thumb. I'm releasing, oh, all right, so that seems like that's better. See how it's more bouncy now? I think it actually was not completely picked, and I just need to release the thumb a little bit more. All right, so we're going back down the line, number 4, and see what's going on. Bouncy. Number 3. Number 3 is bound now because we picked number 5. So I'm going to release the tension on the thumb and pull down gingerly, kind of bouncing it down or pushing gingerly down. Ah, there. Oh, see? Bouncy now. All right. Let's see what's going on here. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a question mark. Let's move over to number 1. Okay, well, number 1 is definitely bound up. See? Nothing. So I'm releasing, holding, gingerly, pushing down, releasing, gingerly. Oh, see? I've almost got my thumb off of it. Okay. I might have overpicked it. Let me try over here. Let's see what's going on. Oh, God and baby Jesus. All right, maybe that one just released. Yes, it did. All right, let's try this again. Because when you overpick it, it just drops and there's no springiness left. The arm just sags. So I'm going to just see if I can pick this one again. Okay. Ah, that's better. Okay, you see how that's bouncy now? All right, let's see. Number 2, letting go on the thumb pressure, pushing down gingerly. Come on now. I'm like almost pushing in the other direction. It just, ow, shoot. Yeah, this one's bound up again. You see, I've released too much pressure, and number 1 went back to the bound state. The pin is bound again, so I'm going to have to do this one again. Come on, baby. Ah. Nope. Ah, okay, there it is. All right, now let's try this again. Number 2. Releasing. You got to be very careful, otherwise number 1 will release. If you released too much on the thumb. Lord have mercy. Yeah, this one's still going. I'm going to skip number 2 for right now. Number 3 looks springy. 4 springy. 5, all right, 5 springy. 4, 3. All right, I have to do 2. Okay, let's see. All right, letting go. Come on. Oh, shoot. Okay, springy. It's springy now, but I think number 1's stuck again. Yes, it is. Okay, releasing. Ah. Oh, yeah. All right, I'm going to demonstrate how you use this wafer lock pick. Sometimes you have to go through a couple of them and find out which one is going to work. I've already tested this wafer lock right here with this pick, and it does work. Inside the lock, let me just take this out. I don't know if you can see this, but the wafers are at the top here. And I'm going to try to pick it with this bad boy right here, and it's pretty straightforward. Let me put it back here. It's just what you do is basically wiggle it all the way back in there into the back of the lock, and then we know, well, I know that this lock unlocks by turning to the right. So what you do is you wiggle while applying pressure, turning to the right, and there it is. So what it did is just sort of functions kind of like a jiggler key, and you just jiggle it, and then I put tension to the left, and I think I can move it back to the left if I do enough wiggling here. Let's see. Ah, there we go. So I locked and unlocked. Let me see if I unlock again. Just push it in. Sometimes it's a little finicky. Push it in all the way to the back. Apply a little bit of the tension, and then just wiggle, 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 wiggle. Sometimes I use the back of it as a handle and just wiggle, 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 and then you're putting a little bit of force. Ah, there it is. A tiny bit of force just to push it into that position, and you just basically pivot it with your fingers here, and that's how you use that boy. I want to go over something real quickly on how you identify the difference between a Schlage and a Kwikset. You know, both of them have basically they've lended or allowed other lock makers to use their technology. For example, this is actually a Kwikset lock in a Defiant branded lock, and this is just using a lock for picking. But the difference between you can see in the keyway is the okay, let's see here. The Schlage has a Z or a S shape. I just keep it in my mind that it has a S-shaped keyway at the bottom here. It looks more like a Z, but I say it's an S. And the Kwikset is just the opposite direction. These are the other materials that I'm going to be giving you with the other lock picks and bypass tools. So first off, this is a mailbox lock, typically on apartments. Mailboxes where you see those clusters of small mailboxes. It typically has these type of locks in there. This lock can be picked. I also believe that there is a Lishi tool that can pick this, but I have to do some more research. But I would advise just using your single picks to try on this one, because it should be, I would think, pretty easy. But as I told you, I'm not the best picker. Anyway, I've also included this. If you want to try to pick a disc lock, you're welcome to keep cutting them off. But if you want to practice the disc lock, I'm going to include this as well for picking. I'm including a little wafer lock. You saw how I unlocked that with the those picks before. Let me see if I can find them. Remember, I had these picks before that I used to pick this lock. I'm including this one as well. Also, I might put a couple of these cylinders in there because they're easy to hold on to while you're picking with the Lishi. And I'm including one or two of these that are basically holders for this type of lock right here, the smaller inside. And it makes it easier to hold these by just placing this in here, if I can get it in. Anyway, I might have to hold off on these because they might be a little too small, but I will see what happens. Let's see what else. So also, each of you is going to be receiving, I'll just put this one away because it's a duplicate, a pack like this, and each one of them Each one of these in here is a Kwikset. This one's a Kwikset, basically identical to this. And this one is a Schlage. And the good thing about these is they have the keys with them, and also you can take out the pins and reassemble them and change it up to a completely different lock. So these things are basically can create infinite locks for a Schlage. A Schlage and a Kwikset. And you'll get one of these each. And like I showed you before, let's move this out of the way. Oh, I just wanted to show you this one. It's so you have an idea. It's somewhat similar to the ones in the bag, but let's see. This one's a Schlage. You see right here, you can add these little pins and springs in here, and it also comes with a key, and that's basically what these are like. It has this with usually it might just have the pins, but you can take off the top and switch out the pins and make the different pinning arrangements and use that. And what you have here is, this is a Schlage. I'm sending this, I've made these for you guys as well, so you could do a Schlage, and you could also see how a smart lock works. This is a Kwikset smart lock, and what I would recommend for these locks is either using the tool that I showed you before that goes behind the handle right here a second ago. There it is. This tool right here can go behind this and unlock it from the inside, or you can use a shim in the door, because this part of the lock is not different. So you can use the shim to the door, the door and the door jamb, and get past these doorknobs as well, possibly. So yeah, I have to try a different couple things there. And I also have this lock right here, this stand right here, which can hold on to this type of lock or this type of lock, and you can have it clamped to a table and just work on it how it would normally feel if you were unlocking it on a house door. So you just screw that on there, make it tight, and then just screw that on there on the end of a table like this, and use that. This is the one I use mostly for doing my Lishi picking, but it's also helpful to use these things and just sort of understand how these doorknobs operate and how different they are. It's just another tool to be helpful. Anyway, I hope this stuff is helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me anytime.